Hey folks, it's Piano Man Steve, founder of LearningMusicIsFun.com. Thanks for tuning in for my fifth and final part of, or segment of Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me free tutorial. So here's what we are going to do. First things first, I'm going to do a quick run through of this basic footprint that I've given you in parts 1 through 4. And then after we've done that, so you can see how it strings together to make a song, then I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you all kinds of fun ways to ornament, lick, fill, etc. to make it a little bit more Elton John-ista. So let's get right to it. So we start out, we take this little signature intro, which we'll play twice. One here and then one after the first chorus, and we start here, and it looks like so. So this is the first chorus, or excuse me, the first verse. Now, here's this little lick where it goes. That leads us into kind of the second verse, but there's no chorus in between the first and second verse. One last little go here. Okay, this is where it changes, getting ready for the chorus. To this guy. And back to here. After the first chorus, if you want to, if you're playing the basic footprint, you might consider in the left hand, instead of just doing this and with only the thumb like we had learned for the first verse, you might consider doing the whole rhythm pattern in the left hand with both the pinky and the thumb. So see how it adds a little intensity and a little extra pace? Helps you build a little bit of a crescendo through the song. Okay, back to the chorus. Here we are, chorus. transition into the final chorus. Okay, final chorus. Final ending. That's how all those parts come together and form the full song. Very cool. Now, let's take a look at different things we can do. First of all, you need to understand that Elton John is the, like, Yoda Jedi master of a technique I teach called make up a fill with the chord that you're on. Okay? I actually teach this technique in my members area over at learningmusicisfun.com, and essentially what it is you're on a chord with your right hand and you just start fluttering around a little bit with it. That's what Elton loves to do. Arpeggiations inside, arpeggios inside the chord, rhythmic flutters, that kind of stuff. So that's one thing that you really want to master for these verses. So when you're coming out of okay, so you get into this, watch what I'm doing, or watch some of the things I do with my right hand. So we go see what I did? I was just on this C chord and I just bumped. So what was that? He likes to do that one. He likes to do that a lot. So let me show you this. This is a really good Elton lick. 2, 3. So we go like this. You're on the C chord. Da da, it's an arpeggio up, G, C, E, ba da dum dum dum. See how it goes to an F chord here? So A, C, F, ba da dum dum, and back to the C chord, ba dum dum bum bum. So it plays around with a little suspension in a way, because an F chord over a C, it's got a little bit of a suspension feel. Little tension release. Okay, ba-da-dun-dun. And then it goes ba-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, which is G, C, G, G, C, E, D, C, G. So we've gone like this. Watch how this would play in rhythmically with the verse. So we're oops. Let me do that again for you and play it right. Sorry, I do make mistakes. I probably won't edit it out though, because one, I'm lazy, and two, you should see that we all make mistakes. Okay, here we go. See how nicely that fits in? So it's like, I can't light that part. So that's a nice little fill, and you'll hear him do that, and you can jump that an octave as well. So it's like you do it down here this time around, and then the second time around you come into it. Da 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 da. Then come back down for the rhythm. Okay, now it's really important in this particular song, you want to do a lot of moving whatever chord you happen to be on, whether it's a C chord or an F chord or a G chord, okay? You want to do a lot of fills that incorporate moving to that chord's 4 chord, okay? So in other words, in C, the 4 chord is F. C is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you do a lot of maneuvering between C and F, so just rhythmic stuff. So it's like you're here, so, and you don't even have to do individual notes. You can just move around rhythmically between here and here, or here and here, whatever inversion you want. So it can just be, you're like da 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 da. Just a lot of moving back and forth between that. The same is true when you're on F. Da da da. The 4 chord of F is 1, 2, 3, B flat. So a lot of between an F chord and a B flat chord. So what was that? What did I do here? Well, this is my toggle technique, which again, I lifted right out of Elton's catalog. What do? See how I'm toggling? I use the top half of my hand to play a chord and toggle back and forth with my thumb, and it creates this cool rhythmic thing. And see how I just play the chord and then an arpeggio. So watch me do that. So we were coming out of it. Here I'm in a G chord. What's the 4 of a G chord? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a C chord, so we're toggling, or we're doing a lot of rhythmic play back and forth between a G chord and a C chord. So that's a cool one right there that you'll hear him do a lot. See what that is? That's the toggle technique. First on your tonic chord, which is G. Then to your 4 chord. But the nice thing is your tonic note, G, is shared. It's in both a G chord and a C chord, so your thumb stays in the same place. You're like boom. Loves to do that. What is that? It's an arpeggio. It goes ba-da, then to the 4 chord, and back to the 1 chord. So watch this, like, and you can do this in any of those keys. We can do it in F, C, or G here, but you're like boom, boom. I love that. Now what I did here was I went ba-da-dum-bum-bum, then I jumped to a different inversion of F, and resolve down to a different inversion of C. So it was like ba-da-da-bum, bum. So we were here, then up here, ba-da-da. So that kind of thing. Elton loves to play around with inversions. You'll see him do the same rhythmic pattern and just jump to different inversions of the chords. You might see him do this. So it was just like we were here. And all it was doing this ba-dum from 1-4-1. So in this case it's C, F, C. So we did it in this inversion, ba-bum-bum. Then jumped to this inversion, did it here, ba-bum-bum. And then up here, ba-bum-bum-bum. So you'll see him do that a lot, where he just takes a rhythmic motif and then plays around with different inversions of the chords. So he also, this is one that you'll see him do live a lot. So especially in what I'd call the third verse, which is after the first chorus. So you come in, bum, da da da, da 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 da. He likes to go. Well, what is that? So. Well, he takes a C chord, he's inverting it in the first inversion. It's an octave style chord. So it's like E's with G and C in the middle. And he goes ba bum ba bum. And it eventually, what it comes out to is he's really kind of playing on that motif of going between this and the 4 chord, like this and an F, but he's coming up and he's getting this D in there. So it's like F, A, D, F. So it plays like a D minor. So it's either he's going between a 1 and a 2 minor, or a 1 and a 4/6, if you know what that is, but that's not important. It's just, so you're here, ba bum ba bum. So we're here, da da na, da da na 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 na. Okay, and then ba-dum ba-bum-bum-bum. So now what you do is you simply take octave E's, and then you throw in a third above it here, which ends up being a G, and it's like so. So E, F, E, D, C, and then you mold that to an F chord. Okay, let me play that really slow, because that's a very, he probably does that 2 or 3 times every time you see him play it live. So let me do it really slow so you can see it. Coming into it from the G. Got to do a lot of that. Ba-da-da-bum-bum. So arpeggio 1 2 3 bum bum. Ba-da-da 4-1. Arpeggio 1 2 3 4 chord 1 chord. And again, lots of that toggle thing between the 4 and the 1. that from time to time, just a real ba-da-da-bum, ba-da-da-bum. Just as a little lead in, and what that is it's a fast arpeggio through the chord downward. So like with your pinky, it'll be like pinky, so on a G chord it'd be G, D, B, G, D, B, G. And again, that was that toggle technique. So these are all really, really popular things that he does, and he does a lot. So what I want to do is I want to take some of these concepts and I'm going to kind of play through the song. And I want you to see how some of these things play into this in real time. Okay? So we've gone. So I use the toggle there. Little ba-da-da-bum, little arpeggio. So notice how I did the little. So I went ba-da-da-bum, bum, then inverted it, bum, bum. I did the bum, bum from a 4 chord to a 1 chord, but I inverted it. And of course there's where I should have done. And your fills, if you're going to try and recreate, you know, the essence of the recording or the way they do it live, your fills should get more and more energetic, more notey, more rhythmic, and louder the longer you get into the song. So they should be simpler and quieter at the beginning in the first part of the first verse, and then after they should pick up a little steam. So you should maybe include some more octaves, you know, jump an octave more often, and then you close the door and let me blinded. Okay, then we're into the chorus. Now, in the chorus, if you want to add a little punch, you can use this little rhythm technique anytime you're just playing quarter notes like this. You can also play, okay, this is a rhythm pattern technique, and what you do is you take the top half of your hand and you play the chord, toggle your thumb down on whatever note it's in the chord, so button, then just one note with your index finger, and then back to the chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can always do this, and it adds a little bit of extra pace, a little extra energy, and this is the kind of thing Elton does a lot. Now, in this second time through, when you go, this is where you can start throwing some of these same things into it down here, because all you really need to do, so it's, you're trying to get this in. Now he likes to go G, F, E, D, C. So see, watch that. Okay, so then down to an F chord, and here you can just start doing whatever kind of flutters on an F chord you want. So F chord, then to a C chord, to an F chord, then ba 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 ba. So you can really ornament that up a lot, and you don't have to do anything fancy. You don't have to move your hand in a million different ways. You just boom, you get the essence. Then you're right back into the chorus. So that adds a little extra punch there. Just kind of arpeggiate and move those fingers around on the chord you're already on. Don't get too crazy, you know. It's just, we do the first part of it just the way we learned. Then we do this little change. Ba-dun-da-dun-da-dun, ba-dun-da-dun-da-dun, G, F, E, D, C, G. Now you're onto an F chord and just flutter around. Then to a C chord over the G bass, flutter around. F chord. Then ba 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 ba. Right back to the verse. Notice how I'm playing very loud and I'm playing up an octave on a lot of the fills. So it's just like as we get on that last verse, we want strength, we want volume, we want intensity. It doesn't necessarily have to be like really, really fancy stuff, but you might jump an octave on almost all the fills. So just ba 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 ba. I can oh, the right romantic lines. This is a great place for it. See me once, see the way I feel, then you know. Just because you think I mean you harm, you know, that's something you could have a little fun with. You could jump 2 octaves on this and go. If you want, I think I've seen him do that, or you can just play it up here, you know. It's because you think I mean you harm. So there's really, the sky is the limit, but what you want to really practice with Elton stuff on this, you want licks that incorporate moving between whatever chord you're on and its 4 chords. So when you're on a C chord, you want to do things that toggle between a C chord and an F chord rhythmically. You want, when you're on an F chord, you want to toggle between F chords and B flat chords. When you're on a G chord, you want to go between G and C. Okay? And you want to do lots of arpeggio things that are fast. Ba-da-da-bum. He loves to do ba-da-da-bum, bum, 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 ba-ba-ba-bum. You want to do these toggle things. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da, you know. You want to be very, very thick. He likes to do his chords octaves. See? G and G. With stuff in between. like I say, you want to build intensity with these licks the farther you go into the song. That is, if you're, if you have a different vision for how you want to play it, go for it. But if you're trying to recapture the feeling of the recording or the way that they do it live, you want to build intensity with these licks in the way that you're playing through the song, so you get more notey, more rhythmic. Longer you get into the song. So save the really heavy artillery where you're jumping octaves and you're playing hard and you're doing full octave rhythm pattern in the left hand instead of just holding that sustained pedal note with your pinky and keeping the rhythm with just the thumb. Then in the last verse you want to be and you just sort of allow that creative genius that's inside of you to take these ideas and formulate your own. That's actually how you sound like Elton. You don't sound like Elton by trying to copy everything that Elton did. You sound like Elton by doing what Elton does, which is allow the moment, the creativity of the moment, to carry it forth. He doesn't play it in concert the way he recorded it. There's only one time in history he ever played it the same way that he recorded it, and that's when he recorded it. So, you really have to keep that in mind. If you want to sound like Elton John, you can't try to capture a snapshot in time. You have to do what Elton does. You have to practice different kinds of licks. You have to analyze his overall approach, and then you have to let the creator inside you spit out different things in any given moment, and that's what makes it sound authentic and like Elton John. It cracks me up all the time. People watch my Elton John covers and go, "Man, you really figured that out note for note." And I'm like, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I just have studied Elton's approach for so long that I know the kinds of things he's going to do, and I just let it happen in any given moment. I never, ever, ever try to hold myself to one specific way of playing it in any given moment, because the minute I do that, even if I did copy exactly what was on the record, I guarantee it wouldn't sound like Elton. It would lose its Elton-esque quality. So that's why I'm teaching it this way. I hope it makes sense. And if this stuff is a little over your head, I understand. This is fairly advanced, what we did in this. That's why I taught the more basic footprint for this song in parts 1 through 4. If that's where your level is, play it. It'll sound great. It'll be enjoyable. And you'll have a great way to be able to play this song for your friends and your family and your own enjoyment. But if you are a little bit more advanced and just never could figure out how to crack Elton's code, this stuff should help make a little bit more sense of it for you. So anyway, please come join us at learningmusicisfun.com. There is always free stuff over there for you. So you got nothing to lose and everything to gain by just coming and checking it out. We'd like you to be a part of our community. Make sure that you're having fun when you're making music, because if you're not, you're doing it wrong. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Piano Man Steve Lungrin, and I'm signing out.